This video is brought to you by OpenVPP and Ionna. OpenVPP, a global virtual power plant for electric vehicles. See vehicles charging across the world and zoom in to see real-time charging status in what aims to be the world's largest vehicle virtual power plant. OpenVPP allows you to track charging history, energy usage, and daily trips, comparing your usage versus others, day to day and month to month. With OpenVPP, we're working together to showcase the potential of EV charging to electric grid operators. There may even be future coordinated EV charging rewards coming soon. So sign up today at world.openvpp.energy. It's completely free to join and takes under 60 seconds. And Ionna, the EV charging network brought to you by the world's leading automakers. Ionna is raising the bar on what it means to charge. We're talking a 400 kilowatt minimum nationwide network built with the customer in mind. Fast, reliable, affordable, every single time.
Well, guys, it kind of feels like the calm before the storm. So hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Most of the United States is getting hit with a pretty wild storm, it seems like, over the next few days and through the weekend. And I've been in a lot of the electric car Facebook groups and online social media stuff, and everyone's like, what should I do with my car? And the couple things to note here: electric cars can be better than combustion cars in the wintertime if used properly. And also, an electric car can be a really great tool to have if you happen to lose power. I know it seems a little bit convoluted, but in this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the things you should consider and some of the things you should do if you own an electric car and you might be expecting to lose power for 1 day, 5 days, 10 days potentially, based off of ice accumulation that's going to weigh down the power lines coming into the region. I'm, of course, looking forward to it here at the Out of Spec track. We'll be sliding around, doing a bunch of FSD tests and lots of big skids in the snow and ice around the track. But of course, we're going to stay prepared with battery banks and electric cars topped up. So in this video, let's talk about what you should do to prepare for the big storm. Well, guys, you joined me actually inside the brand new Nissan Leaf. We'll have plenty of videos coming on this car, comparing it to my old Leafs and others. Let's talk about this winter storm. Now, I am not a meteorologist. There's great YouTube channels such as Ryan Hall Y'all and insert the others, Max Velocity. There's just some great weather channels. And, I think there's a lot of excitement and fear and concern around what could be coming. And to be totally transparent, I have no idea what's coming. It could be really nothing, and it could be life-changing for some people, and it certainly depends on where you live. And I know that many of our viewers do live in the path of this storm, and it could be relevant information for any big weather event that's coming up into the future. So this is, what are we, end of January 2026 right now, and there's a big snow and ice storm coming. So the first thing I want to talk about is, well, most people are not going to be traveling. The roads are probably going to be shut down in the hardest effective regions. But what do you do with your electric car? Well, the first is you want to set your charge limit up pretty high. Now, on this channel, we've always recommended for high nickel chemistries, so NCA, NCM, about an 80% daily maximum charge limit. And most automakers recommend somewhere around there. For a storm like this, yeah, you're going to want to get as much energy in the car as possible. So 90, 95% and letting it sit there. Some folks may even go to 100. And you know what? It's not great for the battery packs to sit at 100% for a really long time. But what's worse for it is sitting at 100% in the heat. This is going to be a winter storm. Many vehicles sit outside. Sitting at 100% in the cold weather, it's not going to be that detrimental if you let it sit there for a few days. Just, if you feel like you need the energy, you need the buffer, charge it up to 100, let the car sit out there. If it was going to be 150 degrees outside and it was going to be frozen, yeah, would not recommend doing that. But considering it's going to be cold and, if you are really concerned about losing power for a prolonged period of time, jump up the charge limit and then you're good to go. Now, cold weather charging, there's a lot to get into with this, but in general, if you have to rely on public charging for your needs, many of the larger towns typically get power first. So find your nearby supercharger, find a backup supercharger, and just make sure you always have enough range, kind of regardless, to make it to maybe 1 or 2 DC stops in major metropolitan areas away, because they may get power restored first before you do. Similar things go with gas stations. When there's no power, there's no gas around. But, it's always good to leave a bit of reserve in the battery pack just to get to the major metropolitan areas if you have to get the DC fast charging energy in the vehicle. If you are heading to a DC charger, by the way, and you are unsure if it's online or going to work, don't precondition to it. Yes, it's going to take you a lot longer while you get to that charger, but if we are genuinely in like an apocalyptic state of emergency and you're not sure if that charger's got juice, don't waste any energy preconditioning to get there. Just take the L, let the battery heat up once you plug in and get the juice in there. If you're going to charge up ahead of the storm, of course, on a DC charger, then, or if you know the charger is going to work that you're headed to, navigate to the charger, make sure you preheat your battery on the way. You'll get the fastest charging times and, no difference there in terms of when it comes to cold weather charging. If you live in a cold weather place, you should know how to manage your electric car. And in general, it's pretty easy. When it's sitting in your garage, by the way, your battery electric car or plug-in hybrid or whatever can turn into basically a battery bank for you. So here, for example, in the brand new Nissan Leaf, there's multiple AC outlets throughout the vehicle. I can leave the car on and I have 120 volt outlets that you could plug in potentially a water heater to so your pipes don't freeze, or a refrigerator, which you could just put the food outside potentially. But you could plug in any loads, space heaters, etc. that you might need to. But be mindful as to how much some of those loads can go for. The thing with power outages is you're never really sure how long it's going to last for. And with, 70, 80 kilowatt hours in most new electric cars, the bigger ones having 110 to 140 kilowatt hours, like Rivians and Lightnings and stuff like that, you have a ton of energy on board. But heaters especially also take a ton of energy. And while you can certainly run anything for a day or 2 or 3, when you start looking at losing power for over a week and using your electric car, it could drain your battery. So just be mindful of the expected time that you're going to lose power and do your own energy management on your side. I'm really curious to see if any of you guys have experiences with this during this storm, or if you have experiences during other storms where you can share your wisdom in the comment section below. This is supposed to be an encouraging story, just something where it's like, charge up your EV and use it as a battery bank. But I'm sure a lot of you guys have been through storms before like this and have good advice. Personally, I have not. I have not actually been without power for more than a couple days with an electric car. And I'm kind of totally prepared for it. Of course, not even slightly worried about it. Now, I'm in a unique case. We probably have 30 electric cars that I can charge all up to 80 to 90%, and we can run forever out here, essentially, or at least until power gets restored. But I know many people are not in that situation, and you just want to be careful about power management. That's my main recommendation when using your battery electric vehicle for energy storage. The next thing you can use your electric car for is heat. Now, if you are genuinely out of power for a long time, you don't think it's going to get restored anytime soon, and you genuinely need to use your car as a life-saving place to live, camping in the car potentially, biggest thing I can recommend is to extend the runtime of your vehicle, heated seats and heated steering wheel. Try to avoid the climate control running. You could probably run your electric car for months, not even just weeks, months, potentially, just using the heated seat and heated steering wheel to stay warm. Now, of course, you can run climate control from time to time. Your electric car can probably run heat and the climate control for 2 or 3 days. Like, these are huge battery packs that we are talking about, and you're probably going to be fine either way. But just something to consider, that heated seats, heated steering wheel draw just a few watts of power, and yeah, they can do a lot to keep your body temperature warm in a true emergency situation, which I know kind of sounds crazy, but it sounds possible for some of the regions being hit that it might get to that. So I hope it doesn't. I hope everyone stays safe and it's all good, but let's just hope that's the case. The next thing to discuss is actually, let's say you do run your EV out. Let's say this thing gets really bad. Your electric car's out in the deep frozen environment. You were trying to pull as much energy out of it, and it turns into a brick. Like, it drains completely. Well, you really need to make sure that you have one of these on hand, something similar to this. This is just a typical 12-volt jump box that I use. You'll see it in a bunch of videos. I bought it, not sponsored or anything like that. But what you really want to have is some sort of mobile jump pack that's charged up, that's there as a worst case scenario for either yourself or your neighbors, where an electric car has a high voltage battery pack and a low voltage 12-volt battery. The only one that doesn't, of course, is the Cybertruck, but it can still be jumped from a 12-volt system. And you may need to, if the high voltage battery dies and everything goes in the car, jump start the 12-volt battery with a jump box and then get the high voltage battery charging. If you follow our Out of Spec Bits channel, I've just been going through a series on this with our Rivian R1S, our LFP version. And that car actually had such a dead 12-volt battery that we had to jump start it with another car, but that's still a possibility. And even then, the 12-volt needed to be replaced. So try not to let it get to that point, especially if you have a Rivian. Rivians really suffer when 12 volts die. They do not recover very well. Every other brand of electric car that I've played around with other than them seem to just wake back up when you jump the 12 volt, plug in the high voltage battery, you're off to the races, you'll be fine. But just be mindful that you have a 12-volt battery jump box if you plan on running your electric car to dead. Keep in mind, cold weather, if the car's outside, if it's buried in snow, that's harder on the main high voltage battery pack and the low voltage battery, just like a normal combustion car. So, it will help your neighbors with gas cars or electric cars or hybrids. Batteries don't do that well in the cold. And with an electric car, though, as long as you have a power source, like you plug in at home or you're near a DC fast charger, nothing to worry about. This is purely like if you really run the thing out completely dead. Sometimes cold snaps will bring out, weaker 12-volt battery performance, and that will happen with any type of car. So again, always a good idea to have a jump box on there. And then lastly, I just want to talk about, let's say you have to go somewhere, right? We on this channel lived in Colorado for the last 5 years. I grew up in cold weather, snowy and icy states. I love cold weather driving. And I've always had the correct tires equipped for the type of environment we're going into. Now, many regions in the United States are going to be getting a ton of ice and a ton of snow that typically do not get that type of weather, which means you will not find anyone with studded Nokia and Hakkapeliitta tires on their car or proper winter tires at all. So be extra mindful of yourself, your stopping distances. Electric cars are very stable in snowy weather conditions because the weight is low. They're generally pretty big. They generally are relatively new, so they have traction control and stability control, and they feel great, but they are heavy. And regardless of where you put the weight in this thing, they are harder to stop in extreme low mu surfaces, so slippery surfaces, and not having the correct tires is a bad thing. You really want to be mindful that you have the proper tires for the conditions you're heading out in, and keep in mind that even if you have the proper tires on your car, people around you most definitely will not. Even when I lived in Colorado, I was one of the very few unstudded Nokia and Hakkapeliittas, and I could drive around in the ice like it was drive pavement and have no issue just bombing through the mountains. But of course, other people were ill-equipped, especially the rental car drivers. They'd never put winter tires on rental cars there, and they're always flying all over the place. So be extra cautious with other vehicles on the road as you're driving if you have to go out for whatever reason. Of course, here in North Carolina, we are expecting to get hit pretty hard, especially in the mountains. I have mobile DC fast chargers, I have generators, we have battery banks, and we have a bunch of interesting electric cars that we'll be playing around with. But in all seriousness, if this really does go bad, and if the situation goes downhill, we are pretty well equipped to load up a big trailer full of stuff and get to wherever people need and, get to work more or less. So we're here to help if needed, but in general, until that point, we're going to have some fun with the storm and just be safe and enjoy it best we can. But those are all the things to think about when it comes to electric cars with this storm. Charge it up. Don't worry about the battery too much. Just drive it as soon as the road's clear so it doesn't sit at 100%. keep in mind as to where the local high power charging stations are to you, as it's very possible that metropolitan areas will get power before the suburbs or the rural spots, of course. And of course, look in the comment section of this video. This is not meant to scare anyone. This is just I saw this topic come up a bunch and wanted to weigh in on it. But look at the comment section on this video and let me know, of course, let others know your experiences in events like this in the past. Keep in mind, there are electric cars running up in Prudhoe Bay, Alaska in -40, -50 with no problems at all. And it's not the cold that's the problem. It's really the unknown duration as to how long you're going to have to wait before you can put energy back in your vehicle. It is no different than a combustion car. And like I mentioned, I filled up both of those combustion cars with gas. I just took my diesel truck, filled it up. I got my Range Rovers filled up. Everything is full. Everything is ready for worst case scenario. And guess what? You'll burn the electricity and you'll burn the fuel at some point in the future. So just fill it up now. Anyway, thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. Hopefully this is the last video we have to do on this topic and we can get back to regular programming. But if things really do go crazy, we will of course follow up with how to recover your car if it's dead and all of those types of things to just help you guys as much as possible. Our email is down below this video, info@outofspecstudios.com. If you guys run into any wild or interesting scenarios, please share them with us. Perhaps we can make an interesting video with it. And we'll see you on another one again soon. Good luck, stay safe, stay warm. And if you can go out and play in the snow, go have some fun. If you're gonna do donuts in a parking lot, know where the curbs are before you do the donuts. See you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.